Good Lordy, it's a beautiful afternoon.
Is it ever?
My goodness gracious. I don't know what, man, here we are. We're talking Winter with Swinter.
Yep.
On location.
Once again, on location.
Oh, there goes the plumes of smoke.
Oh, yeah.
Man, here we are on location. Wait for the reverb. God, that's good. You hear a little bit of wind in the mics today. It's because here we are at the beautiful Spirit of St. Louis Airport in Chesterfield, Missouri, where earlier today we were listening to and we got to watch the Blue Angels do not necessarily practice their show. It was more sort of recon, check out the area, fly around a little bit, pick up landmarks, things like that, and well, now we're about to catch the show, and where we are sitting. This is a private viewing.
This is definitely a private viewing.
We're in the cab of my truck, and we've got our little headsets going here, and we are parked. Tomorrow we're gonna get range. We're gonna know exactly how far off the runway we are, but it is not 200 yards away.
No, but now tomorrow though we might be in a different location. Still on location.
Yep. We'll get these. We'll get these dimensions so we can tell the peoples.
Yeah, there you go.
But we'll be in a different spot tomorrow because I think we're going to be in a better spot tomorrow.
Yeah.
Because tomorrow we're going to get a preview of the full air show.
Yeah.
It's going to be pretty awesome. So without people around or traffic to fight
or horrible weather.
That's right. It's because we're specials.
That's right.
We're specials. That's right. We're Swinter Group, man.
That's right.
That's right.
We are Swinter Group.
We're important.
We're Swinter Group. We have SG Advantage.
That's right.
We are definitely the creme de la creme.
Movers and shakers, if you will.
If you will.
Man, or won't. Please don't hang up or stop listening. Just
hang
out. Okay, we're done.
We're done with that crap.
Yeah. Okay, so if you've been listening to the last few episodes, we've been talking about risk and risk management, avoiding risk, and there goes Blue Angel 1 taxiing out.
And 2.
It is almost, well, yeah, and you know what? The other ones are going to be right behind it, but and there's 2. I bet, man, 60 yards? 70?
God.
No.
70.
75. Yeah. 75 yards from those suckers. Like I can smell the jet exhaust.
Yes, you can.
As they taxi. Man, those are some good looking critters right there.
And you guys will have to forgive us for geeking out a little bit on this, being that we're both pilots.
Yeah, we're kind of aviation nuts, and this is amazing. So anyway,
but we were discussing general business risk. I think now we're gonna sort of narrow that focus down onto snow-related business risks.
Yes. I think you're correct. So we are. So at the end of the day, in our industry, managing risk is what we do for a living. When it comes right down to it, people.
Yeah, no, that's exactly it.
There are some, and there's that pickup truck again. I told you.
Yeah,
that pickup truck follows them out. Anyway, there are some customers out there that are deeply interested in making sure their tenants and their guests and their employees have a safe environment, and that they have things under control, and they're able to have the work done because they want the work done. They want it done right. Mm-hmm. That I'm going to say is I would put that certainly below 50% of the customers. I'm going to put that probably in the 40% category. It are going to be individuals who deeply care about how good things look and the safety for their people. I think that the overwhelming majority of customers out there they just don't want to be sued.
Yeah, and they just don't want to deal with it.
Well, and they don't want to and dealing with it is in the suit. I mean, they don't want cars wrecking. They don't want people getting hurt. They don't want people falling down. Not because they care about the people, because they care about the cost involved in dealing with that after the fact.
Right.
And so when that happens, cost becomes a main factor, because now they're not as concerned about the quality of the work. They're concerned about what it's going to cost, number one, and then number two, they're concerned about what it's going to take to get it done. But in terms of their time, their effort, and their energy.
Sure.
So the issue I think that we have to deal with is understanding, what kind of customers we want, and understanding, how that customer's requirements and what they're after and what the outcome they're desiring is something that we have to have under control. And so, the easiest way to get started on that is by trying to come up with, an understanding of your customer's service level expectations.
The service level expectation, level of service, and honestly, that's the level of service is honestly it is the key component when you're setting expectations with a customer.
Right.
You oftentimes will. Oh my gosh!
Oh, hang on! Cool. Oh my God! All four jets just started shooting their smoke out. All right, hang on a second. I got to get a video of this thing. This is going to be horrible radio, but it's going to be a great video.
Yeah.
So
as these jets are taking off here in the background, and I hope you really get a good feeling of this.
Man, that's awesome.
That is.
Yeah. America.
That is really something spectacular right there.
That is what I'm talking about. That is, you know what? Yeah.
Oftentimes you'll meet with your customer initially or at least hopefully you're not. Hopefully it's not a situation where you've never had a face-to-face and everything's taken place over phone calls and emails. But although that does happen, your initial meeting with your customer, the key thing is to be able to understand the level of service that is going to be expected at that property.
Yeah. So, in the higher the level service, the better of a customer that's going to be for you ultimately, because the more service they want, that means two things. One, they want to be bothered less. Two, they understand it's going to cost them more money. Mm-hmm. And three, they care about the outcome and what ends up happening with your work. Holy crap, here they come again. Wow.
There's
okay. Yep. Yeah, you just can't go wrong with that.
So there was just a jet flying inverted down the runway.
Oh, and here you go, two more taking off now.
Maybe 100 feet.
5 and 6. Ah, yeah! Woo-hoo-hoo! That's what I'm talking about right there.
Yeah, you can feel it in your chest. You know it's good.
Uh-huh.
Yeah.
Man, oh man. Yep. America.
So
here we are. Okay,
so we're talking about high level of service.
Yeah, speaking of high level of service. Yeah. So we're so distracted. This is either going to be really good or really bad when we're done.
Yeah.
One of the two.
Yeah.
Because this is a lot cooler than what they were doing earlier today. Man. Anyway, okay, so let's assume for just a second that you have a very low level of service on a customer of yours, right? Okay, so that low level of service is going to be something that is going to be indicative of also wanting to really get involved in what do things cost. Right, that low level of service is going to be somebody that's going to want to be limiting the services that you're allowed to do. They're going to want to say, no,
Yep.
we need a deeper trigger. No, I want to not pre-treat. No, I don't want to do any type of proactive work. No, I don't want to use any special, de-icing chemicals. All that kind of stuff is going to come into play. And so when you have those kind of accounts, something that's really important to understand is that you carry the risk burden of that work. Now, I know what you're saying. You're like, nope, my contract says that I'm not responsible if there's a slip and fall. Okay.
Yep.
Well, let me explain that for just a second. Here's how it works. You have a contract with your customer. So there is an agreement between you and your customer that governs the terms of that agreement, right? The issue is that, look to the right, dude. My God.
Oh, wow.
They're flying at a 45-degree angle in tight formation, 200 foot off the ground. There they go. Wow. Okay, these are pretty good seats. Anyway, okay, so you got that agreement with your customer. Here's the problem. When somebody slips and falls, you don't have a contract with the person that fell. The person that fell is doing whatever they can to make whatever money they can get because, well, they can. Because there's no contract. Oh, number 5. Here comes 5 and 6. Man, that's awesome. And so what happens... That looked a little close. Wow. Anyway, so what happens is that person that slips and falls, they now there's no contract that governs who they can sue or who they can't sue or who's supposed to be responsible for what. So what happens is they sue everybody.
Yep.
And so now you turn around and you say, well, I've got this great contract. That protects me. Well, that protects you only to the extent that there's to the terms of the agreement between you and your customer. So what happens there is when you get sued, you may turn to your customer and say, hey, you have to defend me because you made the decision not to salt. Well, then your customer says, well, yeah, but you didn't tell me I needed to salt. And you're the professional I hired. That's on you.
Yeah.
So now what you have is what's called a material disagreement of the facts. A material disagreement of the facts can be resolved by a jury, which means you're going to court.
Yeah.
So does that make sense?
Yeah. No. Absolutely. Yeah.
Yeah. Okay.
Yep.
So that's where you need to have a good contract that has been vetted by not just a contract lawyer, right? So some lawyers are really good at writing contracts and paperwork, and holy smokes, that was impressive. Anyway, they are specialists at contract law, right? Here's the problem. Contract law doesn't matter when you get in front of a jury. Because what happens is once you get in front of a jury, it's all about the emotions that you have from the jurors, right?
Yeah, and also contract law is not going to matter when you get in front of a jury because, like you stated earlier, in a tort case, there is no contract that governs the pedestrian that slipped and fell.
Correct.
Right? So you get that in front of a jury, that the judge may not even allow the lawyers to talk about the contract.
Yeah. So what'll happen is if you have a contract that's if you have a great contract, you may not get to the jury because the judge may very well say, yeah, you're out because of your contract. This is not your responsibility. You don't have to worry about it. However, if that doesn't happen, which is the overwhelming majority of the time, what'll happen is the judge will say, well, you may be out. However, what I'm going to do is I'm going to let the jury decide. I'm going to let the jury decide. I'm going to let the jury decide is what a lot of judges like to do because now they're not on the hook for a bad decision later. If it comes to a scenario where the jury decides something that is not what you want, it's not like the judge made that call. And when you appeal, it's not that the judge made a bad decision. So there's reasons why judges want to let juries decide things. So hopefully that makes some sense into why it's even if you have the best contract written, you're still going to find yourself in a scenario where you get called into a lawsuit, and that's why you have to evaluate those contracts, and you have to evaluate the scope of service on those contracts, the service level on the contracts, so you have a handle on what that customer actually wants, so that you can potentially avoid those pitfalls and those
exactly
risks.
Yeah, and I can tell you over the past few months, I've talked to literally hundreds of snow contractors, and I can't tell you how often I get that answer and the words are it's either bulletproof or I have a contract that's written so well by my attorney that I have no liability whatsoever.
Yep. And I can tell you as a guy that that counsels attorneys on how to proceed with some of these things, there is no such thing as a contract that'll give you no liability. That does not exist.
Exactly.
Yeah.
Yeah.
So if your attorney has told you, yep, with this contract you will not get sued. I would advise you very strongly to talk to another attorney.
Seek different legal counsel.
Right. Yeah. Well, and the thing is attorneys have got a job to do. I mean, I
of
get
course.
it,
Yeah.
but at the same time, when your brother-in-law is an attorney, so you have him write a contract for you. Just be a little weary about that. So, but that to get back on track, it's what we're trying to stay focused in on here is understanding your liability based on the information you get from a customer, right? So you get an RFP and it and you say and the RFP has no scope of work, it has no service triggers, it has no stacking points, it has no nothing in there at all. It just says send us your price. Okay. You should never bid on something like that.
No, you have to ask. You have to ask the follow-up questions, and I will tell you that sometimes you ask those follow-up questions from a customer, and they're just frustrated. You know, why do you need this extra information? Nobody else that's given me a bid on this has asked for this extra information.
Right.
Well, that could be a problem for you, Mr. Customer.
Right.
They should be asking these questions.
Right. And there is no shortage of what we call chucking the trucks out there.
Yep.
And when you get to in your business as you grow, and if you've been doing this for a long time, and let's say you started out, doing driveways and you picked up a gas station or a bank or something like that, and you've kind of worked your way into other types of work, as you get into better paying, higher risk but better paying kind of jobs, you find those customers are much more involved. They care deeply about what's happening. Yeah. And so when you have a customer that doesn't care about the scope and doesn't care about what you're going to do or how you're going to do it, what that means is they care about price. And so at that point, you're competing on price, not service level. And so, holy smokes. Okay, folks, I don't know if you can hear that. That aircraft just was flying along in front of us, was straight and level.
I don't even know the name of that maneuver.
Well, I know. I think that's a Cobra is what he did. And then he went into he twisted 90 degrees, and then went into a left bank, and then coming out of the bank went straight into a Cobra maneuver. That was pretty cool. That was pretty cool. Anyway, so if you find yourself competing on price, understand that you are absolutely buying risk. You're absolutely buying slip and falls. You're in that scenario.
You know what? That's super interesting because I've never heard you say that before, but man, does
dude, listen up, jeez, my God, all I do is talk.
But that makes absolutely perfect sense.
Yeah,
and I'm gonna use that now.
There you go.
Yeah.
So
inverted.
Okay, the
inverted formation flight.
Yeah, the two on the outside were right side up. The two in the middle were both inverted. That's crazy town. Anyway, when you're buying that risk, now there may be scenarios where you're able to compete on price because maybe you don't have insurance, and so you're not qualified to do larger scale commercial work. Mm-hmm. So you find yourself bidding on things where you don't have to have insurance, right? Well, that is going to generally be there's going to be lower pay involved. And so, here again, you're buying that risk. Now, keep in mind, I just said you're doing that work because you don't have insurance. If you don't have insurance and you're buying low cost, lower profit work, man, that's bad decision after bad decision. And something that's, as we sit here at an airfield watching the Blue Angels do, what's that? Six aileron rolls in a row and then end inverted. Wow. Anyway, for a plane to crash, one thing can't go wrong. You can't.
Absolutely.
So your engine goes out. Okay. In an airplane, large or small, you can glide. You can bring that aircraft to safety. Now, if your engine goes bad and you're in icing conditions and you're in a cloud and you don't have an instrument rating and there's not an airport or field anywhere safe, you're going to die.
Yeah.
But it wasn't one mistake that led to a fatal crash. It's continual back-to-back bad decisions that are made that wind up leading to something fatal.
Sounds like my life. Continual back-to-back bad decisions.
Yeah, well, but fortunately, you're such a good time though, man. Holy smokes, there's things. There is no way they were more than 400 feet above us.
Oh, they were way less than that.
Way, yeah. I mean, holy crap. Anyway, so and the thing is most of the people, most people out there look at smaller, general aviation aircraft, little prop-driven 4-seat or 2-seat aircraft, and they think, there's no way I'm going to get in that thing. I'm going to die. And the reality is yes, it's dangerous because of people that make continual bad decisions. Now, you equate that to the snow world. The more people, holy smokes.
He is absolutely straight vertical right now.
Right above us. I mean, I'm looking out the moonroof of the truck, for goodness sakes.
Wow.
Holy cow. Anyway, so people will not get into a small aircraft. Most people will not get into a small aircraft because they quote unquote know how dangerous those things are, and you're going to die.
Yep.
Right? Now, here's the thing. If you apply that same decision-making metric to whether or not you're going to get into the snow removal business, I mean, holy smokes. When people go out of business or people lose lawsuits or people make back-to-back bad decisions, and the next thing you know, somebody slips and falls 2 weeks after a snowstorm on ice that formed because your customer wouldn't let you come out and treat, that even if the contract says that's not your responsibility, right, and that you're not responsible for slip and falls, you're still going to get named in that lawsuit. You're still going to have to defend yourself, and it's going to be a problem. So it's just something to keep that in mind is understanding what that risk is. So I feel like we've kind of beat that like a lot.
Yeah.
Right?
And I think the main point of that was really to circle back to the program notes here. The main point of that was really, again, understanding the level of service expectations and then knowing what your associated risks are.
Well, with
those level of service expectations, and I think what we've
oh, sneak pass! Holy yeah! That okay? So
that had to be 600 knots.
I know so this runway is pushing what 8,000 foot long. I think
it's 8, pretty close.
And he was at least. There's a car alarm going off. From the sneak pass from the Blue Angels. That aircraft was easily 500 to 1,000 feet past us before we heard it.
Oh, for sure.
Not 1,000, 500 feet.
And it was maybe 150 feet off the deck. And that was easily 600 knots.
Yeah.
Easily, maybe more.
Scooting.
But easily 600 knots.
Yeah, scooting. Anyway, so the idea here is you need to build your portfolio, right? As you accept contracts, right? Because you can bid anything you want.
Sure.
It's the contracts that you accept that matter, right? Right. You date anybody you want, but only marry the keepers.
Again, we'll go back to a series of bad decisions I've made in my life.
You know what?
I appreciate that.
You know when you say something and you realize it's son of a bitch. Maybe that wasn't the right timing. So shout out to my wife of 22 years or something like that. Or man, okay, dude. I owe you a tall cold one on that one. Hey, look, airplanes to the right. Airplanes. Airplanes. So anyway, so bid as many properties as you can, but when it comes time to accept a contract, be thinking about it does this contract look at more than just the money. Right. Look at the risk potential. Look at the exposure that you're going to get on that contract. Is this something that's going to put you and your crews in front of other people that you want to be in front of? Is this going to become a portfolio piece for you? Is this a customer that's going to let you use images of their picture of their property in your marketing pieces? There's things like that become ancillary added value that you should absolutely be taking a look at. I mean that's a big deal. So. Right?
No, absolutely. Yeah.
Okay.
And you kind of started to hit on a little bit there, and you got distracted by the airplanes.
Airplanes? Sure did.
But building the portfolio.
Yeah.
You kind of touched on it. And, if you're just starting out and, you have maybe limited amounts of equipment, it's going to be difficult at first to build the portfolio.
Well, that's why you steal stuff.
Well, yeah, you could. We don't condone that here at Talking Winter with Swinner.
Yeah, you're probably right.
But it's certainly an option. But as you're able to build your portfolio with more and more properties, believe it or not, you're actually able to minimize your risk a little bit more, right?
Yep.
Why is that?
So a couple things. One, if you have, if you look at, let's look at monetary risk, right? So if you're, there's no, scooting along, not as fast as the last one, but still moving.
No.
So, wow, holy smokes. Anyway, so let's take a look at things from a financial perspective, right? So we met with a contractor in, I think this was Des Moines. This was a few weeks ago. And he was talking about contract types. And he says, well, man, here's what I want to do. I want to get paid I want to get paid no matter what when I show up for plowing. And so I'll give him a discount when I plow, but I want to be paid full price when I salt. And I asked him, I said, okay, well, let me ask you a question. I said, well, let's say they're going to give you 40% of your salting cost up front. You still want to charge, quote unquote, full price when you show up. He's like, oh yeah, absolutely. I was like, okay, so you want to charge double the money? No. I want full price when I salt, but I'll give him a break when I plow.
Yeah.
And I'm like, well, but full price is full price, bud. So if you're going to get 30 or 40 or 50% of your price up front, there's no you don't have the risk when you salt. It's already there.
Right.
And that may sound a little complicated when you see it on paper. It tends to make a little bit more sense, but nonetheless, it's something where people. The point of that conversation was that what he and I were essentially saying the same thing. We were looking at it from a different perspective, and it was something where he hadn't ever considered balancing his contracts out. A friend of his had seasonal contracts, and said that he wants more seasonal contracts. And the issue is that
yes, he did, and these two guys, I will say both of them very successful in their businesses. Doing very well in their businesses.
Well, and what this guy was doing was he had quote unquote seasonal contracts, but they were capped. So once you got to a certain depth of snow, well, then he could charge T&M.
Yeah.
So I said, okay, so you've got a T&M contract. And he says, no, it's seasonal. I said, well, but it's only seasonal to a point, and then it's T&M, and below that, even when you get below that, you still are, you're wow. Right over. Woo! Yeah. That was right over the top of us.
Yeah, in a 90-degree left bank.
Wow. Okay, this is we made a good decision coming out here today.
Yeah.
Anyway, the point being is that when we had mentioned how you can balance your contracts and tell your customers, look, I'm going to provide the service for you for a flat amount of money with no cap on snowfall. And if you do it right, your business has zero risk of losing money. Zero, none.
Right.
But you have to understand the numbers and understand how that works. And once we kind of got through how that worked, he was like, oh, well, that's a lot better, because now he can go to his customers and say, here's my price no matter how much it snows. Now go ask somebody else for that same price.
Exactly.
And you won't get it.
Yeah.
And so it's just something that, just because that's how things are in your market doesn't mean that that's how you need to do it.
Yeah, and I think part of the issue there is there at one point there were some, I don't want to call them funny, but just different things going on in that market that maybe it's sort of led down the road.
Look up. Here's another one right over us. Yeah! Woo! Man. Okay, sorry. Keep going. Sorry.
That sort of led to almost this is how we've always done it kind of thing, without being able to explain why you learned it this way. This is just always how we've done it. Doesn't necessarily mean it's the best practice for you.
Right. Well, and it might not be the best for you, for the type of business you're in either. And at the end, it's not the best for your customers.
Right.
At the end of the day, what happened was, decades ago, contractors decided, well, because customers said they want a seasonal contract. And so contractors went, okay, but I'm only going to do that up to so much snow, because beyond so much snow, you just need to pay me. And so really what happens is in a light year, the customer gets screwed because they've way overpaid for snow. And in a heavy year, the customer gets screwed because they've lost the protection from the seasonal contract.
Yeah.
But at the end of the day, the contractors that set that up hadn't gotten to, or hadn't analyzed the numbers and different contracting methodologies to come up with anything better. And so it made sense for decades. Well, there's better options out there. And you know what? Here comes shameless plug.
That's right. Shameless plug.
So, that's what we do for a living, at the end of the day, which if you're listening to this podcast for any amount of time, you already know that. And we encourage you greatly to call us at 314-260-4352 or podcast@swinnergroup.com is a good way to email us. And happy to take all the time we want to kind of discuss that in more detail, because we're out of time, man. Here we are. Although
we're to a point now where we have a whole nother episode to talk about the next subject.
Yep. And they and as the Blue Angels keep flying, man, they're killing it. Here it is, man. Another pass, dude. You know what we ought to do? We ought to give away. We ought to give a air show experience away. I mean, the next one's doesn't come for 2 years, but that'd be pretty cool.
Yeah,
have some of our customers come down and join us and do some recording with us from the airfield here.
Yeah, that would be
That'd
neat.
be sweet.
Yeah.
Anyway, but yeah. So here's what we're gonna do. We're gonna let it go right now, because it's been a long time. If you're still listening, we appreciate it. Thanks for hanging with us. Thanks for being part of this thing too, man. And seriously, shoot us an email, give us a phone call, something like that. Do some interaction. Let us know you're out there. We'd love to hear from you and what you want to hear about, and hopefully we can help. Anyway. In the meantime, you enjoy the summer. That's where we're at.
Yep.
Thanks so much for listening. Talking Winter with Swinner. With the Blue Angels, Ken Bogeman, Jason Dungan. Thanks.
Bye.
See ya. Yeah, I let it roll in so we could hear the Jets.
Yeah, we're still recording.
Yeah, I know we're still recording. Okay. There's Jets going, dude. Yeah, how do you stop? God, there's Jets. It's freaking F-18s all over the place. All right, now we're out. Deuces. Right. See ya. Bye.